Dear Cruz here, your life applications officer. I'm going to say it. I'm going to get to the point, and then I'm going to close off this video. I'm supposed to be in the laundromat. I was supposed to be in the laundromat earlier today, but day 2 of my day off, I'm tired. Okay, so I just now got up a little bit ago, had a gorgeous lunch, and now I'm up, and I'm finishing up on some things before I go downstairs to the laundromat. But I was listening to Lisa Haven. Y'all know how I like Lisa Haven. Some of y'all have been watching me. And I didn't know that Lisa Haven spoke on black issues. I'm pretty sure she just threw it in there. I don't think she decided to have this long, outrageous video on black people. But I think what the brother was saying was that she was talking about the stuff going on, people hating on Trump and that. I'm going to go look up the video. I'm going to find the video. I don't think he left a link to that particular video in his description, but I'm going to look it up. I want to hear her side of it, but he said something dumb, and even though Lisa shouldn't be spending her time talking about black issues separate from everything else, which I don't think she did anyway. I think he was just watching something and about Trump, because he probably don't like Trump, and I don't think he does, if I remember correctly. And Lisa said something about the Trump hate, which I've been doing the same thing, and you know how I like Lisa Haven. Okay. I'm gonna say something right here, and I'm gonna get to the point. Black people do not need anything that everybody else in America doesn't need. See, when you were a slave and you were in chains and you were not allowed to decide what kind of job you wanted, where you wanted to work, whether you was married and how many children you wanted to have, and you weren't allowed to go to school and get an education, and you weren't allowed to vote, and you weren't allowed to live next door to a white person and all this stuff. Maybe you needed reparations then. When black people couldn't own real estate outside of the so-called black community, maybe you needed reparations then. But you don't need anything that white people don't need. If you need reparations, white people need them, Asian people need them, Indian people need them, Native Americans need them, African Americans need them. You know, you name it. Everybody out there needs them. But if you are an American that is allowed to consider yourself a full-fledged American, and you are allowed to vote, and you are allowed to buy and sell and you know, have ownership of property, you do not need reparations. You do not need anything that white people don't need. Okay? I had this argument with a lady the other day. And I asked her, how come when Asian people get shot, Asian people don't go out and march and start rioting? How come when Native Americans get shot, how come they don't go out and march and start rioting? Okay? How come there isn't any Asian lives matter and Native American lives matter? Indian lives matter. Okay, and then this is the dumbest thing this lady said. She went to talking about, well, all our black people are in prison. Two things. I'm going to say it again. I want a goddamn answer. What is so special about your black crispy behind that ain't putting no money into this country? That don't own nothing, so nobody fears you. Because you don't own anything. You have no power. What is it about you? Above all these other races out here. This is not a white and black issue anymore. This is a colored issue. America is more diverse than it is white. What is it about you that you're so damn special that forget about all these other races? White people just don't like you. And I try to ask this old lady that. She's old. She's not going to be here more than another 10, 15 years. Going to her grave with this sin. She's going to hell. Lying to herself like this. Oh, our black people are in prison. And you know, the Republican Party, that's the Republican Party. The Republican Party is for white people. And all this stuff. Then she wants to talk to me like I'm racist. I don't like white people. Huh? Okay? She just keeps it going. 1 minute I don't like white people. And then another minute, oh, I have a problem with my own people. And I told her yesterday, my own people are the people that fear God and His commandments. Okay? My people are Christians, whether they be black, white, Asian, Indian, whatever they be. My people are Christians. They're not black people. They're not African Americans. They ain't Mexicans. They ain't, you know, they are the people of God. Okay? And we are long far away from this whole thing about black people being a family. You know what I think is happening that's ruining us? Stop the family bullshit. Stop it. We are not family. Okay? Stop. We're not family. This woman that's on my mind right now can't get it in her thick skull that I'm allowed to vote for whoever I want to vote for in 2020. In 2021. She don't get it in her thick skull. She thinks that, oh, if you're black, you always got to get with the other black people and put yourself here or put yourself there. No, you don't. You can be black and be a Republican. And this is the difference. See, this is the difference. White Democrats, the reason why blacks are still in the is in the Democratic Party. This is why right here. This is why blacks yield to the Democratic Party. They bow to the Democratic Party. They don't bow to anybody. That's the problem. But the thing is, they follow or they chase after or they think the Democratic Party is their party. You know why? Because Democrats come to you and make you feel like you're somebody special because you're black. This whole, oh, Black Lives Matter is going to march through our cities and start disturbing white people and their children at a restaurant. Okay? When Ain't nobody sitting there saying nothing negative about black people or making decisions about black people. They just sitting there having beers and macaroni and cheese with bacon bits. And y'all gonna come in there talking about Black Lives Matter and start kicking over tables and smacking things around, throwing stuff around, making a mess of the place. They sitting there, you know, bouncing a kid on their lap, just looking at you like, you crazy. And if one of them get out a gun and shoot you and they don't get executed for it, okay, then it's another race crime, another hate crime when your black behind wasn't supposed to be there. You wasn't buying nothing. You wasn't sitting down with all these white folks and trying to like get to know them and get to hear their side of the story or anything. You just wanted to come in here and make a mess of the place. Because you could. Because the Democrats, you knew, were enough for them where they could stop anything from being done about it. The Republicans, on the other hand, are different. The Republicans are like, oh, you want to be a Republican? That's just like me when I first got into Trump. When Trump first started, and you know, I work with police. I work with police and all like that. And some of them, they run their mouths because they assume that just because I'm black, see, black folks don't know how I go through this. They just assume because I'm black that I automatically voted Democrat. When they found out that when they finally got in their thick skull, I am on your side, knuckle brain. I'm a Trumper, okay? Now the tension in the room starts to mellow down. Oh. And if they're racist, they don't say nothing to me. They just don't know what to say to me anymore. Like, you know, because they know that as much as they want to accuse me of some racist rhetoric, they can't. And that's all they know, because that's the way it was raised up. That's the way it was brought up. But then the other ones, they're like, you know, every day, pat me on the back. Hey, Mr. D-Roy, just the face I want to see. Hey, how you doing? Because they know that I understand, okay, the difference. And I understand how politics works. Now, again, here's another thing that I told this crazy woman in question. I'm not going to go into detail because she's just some woman that I know that loves to argue with me every day, and I'm not going to give out names and give facts, you know, throw away her identity. But the thing is, here's another thing. I told her, I don't want, okay, white people to be, what's that word? I don't want whiteness to go away. I don't want white people to be, there's a word. It was a news thing that came on the news, and she was talking her rhetoric, and I said something to her about it. But white people to lose their whiteness. And I'm not talking about white privilege or white supremacy. I'm talking about, I don't want white people to become a minority. That's it. That's what it was. Someone said white people are becoming a minority, and there was a bunch of black people speaking on one of these news programs, and they said it's time for white people to become a minority. I don't think so. I'd rather move to Africa or move to some brown-skinned nation and give up my seat to a white person so that he can build a family in my spot and create more white folks. I'm sorry. Call me a racist, call me an Uncle Tom. I don't want white people to become a minority. Why? Because no other group of people in this country are going to put in the work, are going to put in the culture, are going to put in the time, put in the effort, okay, to hold that flag up. Okay? But again, white Republicans are different than white Democrats, because when it comes to black people, white Republicans are like, well, if you want to be a Republican, man, that's awesome. But if you don't, why am I not surprised? Let me say it again. You want to be a Republican? Shout out to my brother, thumbs up. But if you don't want to be a Republican with your black self, why am I not surprised? Okay? They don't get all up in you and lie to you like the Democrats do. Hey, like Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. You got to be black. You're not black if you're not a Democrat. You're not Joe Biden. You're not for Joe Biden if you ain't black. But see, the fact is, this is what's so dumb about black people. Joe Biden is white. And if Joe Biden likes black people, how many other white people like black people? Okay? Is it really Republicans that hate black people and Democrats that don't? That's a farce, man. That's a lie. That is a flat out lie. I work with these Republicans every day. My friends are all Republicans. Most of my friends, some of them are Democrats. And some of the Republicans that are my friends are black too. Okay? But like I said, the Democratic Party is for people that are either victims. They consider themselves victims of something. Or they think they're trying to liberate the victims. Where the Republican Party is like, this is the way it is. Okay? And when you don't follow suit, you make yourself a victim. But stick with the policies that have been here, that are in the Constitution. Quit trying to shift what they mean. Quit trying to change the definition. Stick to the policies, and you won't have to worry about being a victim. You won't have to worry about reparations. You won't have to worry about white supremacy and all like that. Why? Because the white folks and the black folks are doing the same thing. But when you say, oh, me being black makes me act a certain way when I get on the bus. I don't say good morning and put my mask over my face like everybody else because I'm black. When your black culture, okay, and your black freedom, okay, causes you to just automatically hate cops. And you know what? This whole crap about, oh, it's white cops and white supremacy. And no, it's not. I wear a uniform, and I don't even carry a gun. And black folks hate me for wearing that uniform. They don't even know what the uniform represents. I'm not there to arrest anybody, even if they do a crime in front of me. It's not my job to arrest them. We have our own police department for that, which we are affiliated with, which are there to protect us, and they are our client as well. Well, what's black folks doing? Stop everything they're doing. Watch me walking down the street, looking at me over there, mumbling something about me, and then when I tell them they can't smoke, oh, I'm an Uncle Tom. Oh, I gotta wait till they get nice and ready to stop smoking. Because I'm black, they black. But if I call on my radio and ask a white person to come down there and tell them to stop smoking, oh, they'll go down there and stop smoking. They'll take it somewhere else, but they'll sit there and call it white supremacy. You just can't win with these brown-skinned idiots. You just can't. So I don't care. And then this brother, he was going to say something about Lisa Haven, and he seemed like a nice guy until he said, Lisa Haven said that black folks don't need reparations. They don't. Maybe you did when you was in slavery. Maybe you did when you was suffering from Jim Crow. Jim Crow's dead. And I don't care if you feel like Jim Crow never went anywhere. Jim Crow is still dead. I don't care if you feel like you're still a slave. Slavery is over. I don't care what you feel like. And if you can't see that, I'm sorry, your eyes are deceiving you. Because as much as I run into white people every day that look down their nose at me, white people every day that look at me like, oh, here we go. Here we go. Till they get to know me. But as soon as they see me, oh, here we go. Here we go. Start mumbling each other. Here we go. It still ain't slavery. It still ain't Jim Crow. It still ain't racism. It still ain't white supremacy. If it's white supremacy, why is me and white people living in the same neighborhood? If it's white supremacy, why are any white people at the welfare office? If it's white supremacy, why is any white people living in trailers? If it's white supremacy, why are white people living in projects? If it's white supremacy, how come white people can be arrested for crimes done to black people? But it's never enough for black people. It's never enough. It's never enough for black people. And I've learned this, and I've been saved 3 times. I've been saved, first of all, because my ancestors, if that's what they were, if that's where I come from, if that's what y'all want me to believe, I'll take it. You know, don't nobody look like this but you. Okay? All right? If you tell me that, I'll take your word for it. Okay? My ancestors came here and went through slavery, so I don't have to. My ancestors, through Jesus, Jesus died on the cross for my sins, so I don't have to. And then third of all, I'm saved the 3rd time because even coming up and waking up, you know, up out of the black community, the projects, the ghettos, God showed me that my life is not based on the ghettos, the projects, white supremacy, white privilege, reparations, welfare, depression of the black family. My life is not based on that, but my life is based upon my choice. I choose whether or not I want to be in prison. I choose whether or not I want to make money and make more money. I choose whether I want to buy and sell and own. I choose who my enemies are and who they're not. I choose. It's my choice. I don't care how many white people don't like me, and I see them every day too, as well as black folks that don't like me. I see them every day too. And it's not because they don't like me. It's not that they don't like me because they see my videos. Sorry, if that's not it. They don't like me because the way I carry myself. I carry myself as a man that's free. I carry myself as a man that ain't walking around with this chip on his shoulder. As soon as I get on the bus and say, hello, all eyes go on me. Like they never heard nobody get on the bus before and say hello. The only people that ain't looking at me like I lost my mind is white folks. But everybody else, black folks, Spanish folks, I get on the bus and say, hello. How you doing today, sir? They all look at me. Like I told this old lady. She said, how do you know all this stuff? I said, I got to just walk out the door. There ain't even that many black people that live in this neighborhood. But if I go down to the bus stop, who's acting a fool before they can even get on the bus? Who's acting a fool? Who's got the cops coming up here? When in this little friendly neighborhood where don't no cops come around. And these cops are very, very nice so far. Very, very nice. They speak. This ain't like the cops back home where my kids live. These cops out here are very friendly. They see you walking towards them. They wave at you. They say, hello, how you doing today, sir? They call you sir. Okay, they treat you very, very well. For a predominantly white area, they treat you very, very well. But yet, it's never enough for black people. The only thing that's going to help black people is for them to get away from their blackness. You know the best thing you can do that I've done to get yourself out of this rut about blackness, about your own black skin, and white supremacy, and white privilege, and Black Lives Matter, and all this garbage. You know how you get yourself away from that? Get away from black folks. That's how you get away from that. Get away from black folks. It all started when I was fresh out of high school. Started traveling and seeing how the other half lives. And I survived. I survived around a white supremacist, if you want to call them that, and friends that I told you the story before, and white people all in the same day. I know the difference because the white supremacists, the white haters, you know, the white guys that don't like me because they come from these little white ghettos, okay, they were all mixed in with these lovely Christian white people that just love me like their own child. They were mixed in. I saw the difference. There's a big difference. And you better catch on because there's a big difference between black folks and black folks. There's black folks. There's black folks that are in the black community. There's black folks that are in the Black Depression. There's black folks that are racist. There's all kinds of black folks. There's black folks, get this one. There's black folks that come here from other countries. I like them kind of people. Whether they're coming over here speaking Spanish because that's where they come from, or whether they come over here speaking the African language because that's where they've been for the last 15 years, or whether they come over here out of the country as a veteran from an Asian nation, and they know how to speak 3 different types of Asian languages. They tend to come over here and totally be dumbfounded, like, what is wrong with these black people? Because see, black folks, it's not in your skin. It's not in your skin. It's in the way you've been taught, your social conditioning, the way you've been brought up. But the truth of the matter is, black folks don't need anything that the rest of the world don't need. If you're gonna cry and moan and say we need reparations, then get reparations for everybody. If you're gonna cry and moan and say that you're out for the victims, then your black behind ain't the only victims. We got victims of all races. Okay? I'm standing up for the victims of short people, or the short victims of America. Okay? I should be wearing a shirt saying, short folks matter. Because trust me, I go through stuff every day where people think they can say anything they want to say to you. Okay? And they can and they can come to you with all kinds of stupidity because you're only 5'3½", and you got the nerve on top of that to be a nice guy, calling people sir and ma'am and all that kind of stuff. They just walk all over top of me. I'm still not a victim. Because I know that everybody ain't hating on short people. Not all white people, not all black people, not all anybody. Okay, and when it comes to going outside the country, height-wise, I got more in common with these people because they're all the same size as me. I go to work, I see some of my neighbors, we be high-fiving. Short lives matter, man. You know, hey, you know. But anyway, I'm getting off of here. You, black folks, don't need anything that anyone else in this country doesn't need. Stop telling yourself that you're special. You're not special because you're black. Slavery does not make you special. Jim Crow don't make you special. White supremacy, white privilege don't make you special. It makes you an idiot because you keep bringing it up. You keep using it when it was over a long time ago. I'm D. Roy Cruz. I'm out. God bless you.